Hey, hounds, friends of the hounds. Oh my gosh, I've been like a kid waiting for Christmas this whole time, this whole 10 days. Thank you all so much. Look, I'm having trouble already. Daggum, there it is. All right. So thank you all for being here, and more importantly, thank you for being who you are. You guys have pushed, great information. You've helped out each other. You've helped Tanya. You've helped Bob. You've helped his stars, amazing guests that are coming up here, Kim and Jeff, and you're amazing. And I'm not just saying that because it's popular and good to say. I'm saying that because you make the pack special, right? All I did was bring great people together, create an ecosystem, but you guys have made this life changing for so many people. So it is my absolute honor and privilege to present as the Hounds of Business, as us as a community, to bring this to you guys. It's going to be life changing, business changing for many people. Okay. So hats off to the folks here today. Thank you, Bob, Kim, and Jeff. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And I got to give props to Brand Face, right? And two friends of mine, but just amazing professionals who have made a humongous impact in many, many lives through and outside of the hounds. Tanya Eberhardt, Michael Carr, thank you so much. How are you guys today?
Excellent, Mike. Thank you.
Excited.
Yes, we're very excited.
Excited.
Yeah. But first of all, I got to say, it takes good people to pull a lot of good people together. And the moment that we heard about you, we actually met you through another podcast that we were on. It was instant. Like we were just attached at the hip. And I thank you for everything you've done to lift us up, to help us in every way, even when we don't ask for it. You're amazing. And the hounds are some of the coolest people we've ever met. We've been part of this organization, this community for a year now, over a year now. So thank you. Thank you.
And my pleasure. Absolutely. And this just goes to show you it's not the only way, it's our way. We love to go out there and help people and bring value, build relationships. And look what happens, right? Look what happens when you
Mhm.
do that. When you focus on other people getting what they want instead of what you want, this is what happens. And again, unbelievable. So thank you for making it special. I won't go on and on because we all know I can, right? And I like to. But I want to get to the meat and the heart of this. This is exciting because these folks wrote the book. They have walked the walk for many, many years. They have set the stage, and many of the pack principles, adapted from them. They are the true, real deal. So I'm going to get up out of here in a minute. But yeah, thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for what you do for everyone and making this connection, right? And that's what we want to see more of. So I'm going to be quiet. I'm just so goofy. I just want to sit back here and take notes. This is good. This is not an infomercial. This is good stuff, and I can't wait to get at it.
I can't wait
Yeah, it's
either.
going to be great. What makes this exciting is I read The Go Giver, I don't know, 20 years ago, and have applied the principles that Bob talks about for years now in my own business. And then to get to know him and be a friend of his over the last year or so has been fantastic. For him to be a part of the Hounds now, and the support that he is giving and the great value that he's fixing to bring to us, is really exciting to see all this come about.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I did not read the book 20 years ago. I actually just read it in the last few months. Where have I been? Okay. But the
Right.
moment I read it, not only did I understand it, but if I had time to share with you today, we'll do another show on that. I'll share the principles I've already put into place with this. It's incredible. So I have to say, we had Bob on our podcast a couple of months back. Immediately introduced him to Mike, and now here we are today. Thank you for allowing us to be part of this, Mike, Bob, Jeff, and Kim. And I'm going to hand it over to Michael to do the honors of introducing Bob Burg.
All right. We ready for this?
We're ready.
All right, ladies and
We're
gentlemen, it's
ready.
my
Yeah.
great pleasure, introduce a Hall of Fame keynote speaker on referrals, relationship building, genuine influence, the co-author of the international bestseller, The Go Giver, and the founder of the Go Giver Success Alliance, Mr. Bob Burg.
Wow. Thank you so much, Tanya and Michael and Mike. You all three are absolute stars. And what makes you such great stars is your focus is always on making other people stars. And I think that's what everybody in your organizations just love about you. And as we discuss today, and we're going to have Jeff West and Kim Angeli with us, two just great pros and two wonderful heroes and associates of mine. You'll find that everything we talk about is going to be about focusing on others. Because when you think about it, successful business is all about the relationship. Now, law number 3 of the Go Giver, for those who've read the book, is the law of influence. And the law of influence says your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. Well, what do we mean by that? Because we certainly don't mean that you're anyone's doormat, right? Or a martyr or self-sacrificial. No. By placing other people's interests first, what we mean, as Joe, the protege in the story, learned from several of the mentors, it's really all about the golden rule of business, the golden rule of sales, which says that all things being equal, people will do business with and refer business to those people they know, like, and trust. And there's no faster, more powerful, or more effective way to elicit those feelings toward you in others than by genuinely and authentically moving from that I focus or me focus, which they're so used to that other focus, looking to, as Sam, one of the mentors, advised Joe, make your win all about the other person's win. Why does that work, though? I mean, is that just something that sounds good, making your win about their win, placing your focus on them? Well, you think about it. Nobody's going to buy from you because you have a quota to meet, right? They're not going to buy from you because you need the money, or you have a mortgage payment, or you want to send your kids to a decent school or whatever. No, they're going to buy from you because they believe that they will be better off by doing so than by not doing so. And when you think about it, that's the only reason why anyone should buy from you or from me or from anyone else. So when we can place our focus on them, now we're creating that environment for success for everyone concerned. Now, we do this through influence. Now, what is influence? Well, the basic dictionary definition of influence is simply the ability to move a person or persons to a desired action, usually within a specific goal. Now, we do that, and a good influencer does this not through pushing themselves and others, pushing their ideas, pushing their will, being pushy, but no, through its very opposite, pull, a gentle, respectful pull, an attraction. Great influencers attract people first to themselves and then to their ideas. How? Well, again, while they're inwardly motivated, they're outwardly focused. So they're always finding out, what does that person need? What does that person want? What does that person desire? What problems is that person having that I can help solve through my products, services, or other ways? How can I move them closer to happiness? Now, the way we do this, we just talked about influence. We do this through what I call genuine influence. And genuine influence takes influence to a whole new level. Genuine influence is the ability to get the results you want when dealing with others, but in such a way that the other person feels genuinely good about themselves, about the situation, and about you. And there are 5 basic principles to have this happen. Now, each one of these is an explanation in itself. So we're going to do a Reader's Digest version, if that's okay, and then we'll give an example at the end to bring it all home. The first one, principle number 1, is to master your emotions, control your own emotions, right? This is key, because unless we're in control of ourselves and control of our emotions, it's the only way that we can take a potentially negative situation or negative person and turn it into a win for everyone involved. Now, emotions are important. We're not saying deny your emotions. Emotions are a great thing. What we're saying is this. One of my great friends, a mentor of mine, Gandhi Scumaci, says, by all means, take your emotions along for the ride, but make sure you are driving the car. In other words, we need to be in control of our emotions instead of our emotions being in control of us. The second principle is understand the clash of belief systems. This is simply realizing that everyone, you, me, we all, everyone sees the world through their own individual set of beliefs. These are beliefs that were handed to us through a combination of upbringing, environment, schooling, news media, television shows, movies, popular culture. But by the time we're a little more than toddlers, our basic set of beliefs are pretty much etched in stone. And most people, and this is unconscious, by the way. So most people, they live their lives controlled by what I call an unconscious operating system, thinking that they're making choices out of strength and consciousness, when really it's sort of the decisions are all made within a matrix, which is the belief system. And the matrix, just like the movie, only without the machines. Okay. That matrix is the rules that we were given, that we live by. So we need to understand, when we're dealing with another person, that they probably see the world a lot differently than we do. Okay. We just need to understand it. We don't need to understand necessarily their belief system at first, but we need to understand it might be different from ours. Third is to set the proper frame. A frame is simply the foundation from which everything else evolves. So if you set the proper frame, you're 90% of the way to the results you want. On the other hand, if the other person sets the frame, and again, it's always unconscious, okay? If they set a negative frame and you buy into that frame, unfortunately, now you're 90% of the way to not getting the results you want. We'll come back to that in a bit and see how we can reframe that consciously. 4 is communicate with tact and empathy. My dad always defined tact as the language of strength. And I always love that definition, because sometimes, boy, does it take some strength to not just react to what someone says and fire off that email or that text or say something to this person, because it will make you feel good at the moment, but you'll regret it, right? It takes strength, though. Now, we could really define tact as the ability to communicate an idea to someone that they ordinarily would not be receptive to, but to do it in such a way that not only are they not defensive toward us and toward our idea, but they are open to us. They're more receptive to our idea. Now, empathy, what I call the cousin of tact, empathy by definition is the identification with or vicarious experiencing of another person's feelings. But here's the problem. We don't necessarily know how they feel, because, again, we're not them. Now, the good news is this: communicating empathy does not mean you understand how they feel. It's communicating to them that you understand they're feeling something, and that this something is distressful to them, and that you are there to help them and to help work through it. That's empathy. And then the final one, number 5, is to let go of having to be right. Now, this doesn't mean you don't want to be right. It doesn't mean you don't prepare to be right. It means you lose your emotional attachment to the results, to having to have it go your way, to having to be 100% right about everything. Now, 2 good things happen when you do this. One is you actually put yourself in learner's mode, so you can learn more and increase the odds that you will be right. This is so much different from that person who, their life philosophy seems to be, my mind's already made up, don't confuse me with the facts. And we all know, people like that. But the second part about letting go of having to be right is when you're engaged with another person and they can tell, they know you're not trying to just win a position. You're not trying to just be right, and you're not trying to be right by making them wrong. When they know this, now they're much more likely to let down their defenses and do the same thing you are, and that is searching for the truth wherever that truth may lead. So those are the 5 principles that we're discussing today. Now let's use an example and look at how, and look at how all 5 of these come into play very quickly and very naturally. Let's say, and we're going to use the example right here, just use a generic example. We're going to take a realtor who is is on a listing appointment, okay? And they can tell when they get to the home that the couple has a little bit of a strange attitude, almost kind of angry, frustrated, whatever. They don't know why yet. We don't know why, but we're going to just kind of be with that and be okay with it and kind of see. Now, the couple, when they sit down, they say, we just want to let you know we've had 4 other realtors here, and every one of them has told us that they're the best and their company's number 1, and they insist that we list with them. Well, we just want to let you know, we're not some easy mark. We're going to make our own decision. Now, they've come at it with an adversarial frame. So if you, and again, it's unconscious on their part. Now, if you unconsciously buy into that frame, what happens? You become defensive. Maybe you start defending yourself. Maybe you kowtow to them because you're a little intimidated, or maybe you act aggressively. I don't know. Okay, but we don't want to do that. Instead, we control our own emotions, right? We understand the clash of belief systems. We see that they're coming from a belief that a realtor must be pushy and insisting and so forth. That's their belief. They set a negative frame. So let's reframe this. Okay. And we're going to reframe it using tact and empathy and letting go of having to be right. And it might sound something like this. Mr. and Ms. Prospect, first, thank you for sharing that with me. And I'm sorry that happened. I can only imagine how that made you feel. Please know that while I've been honored to help a number of people in this community by listing and selling their home, whether or not I'm the right solution for you, we can't possibly know without exploring deeper and really discovering your needs and your wants and what you're looking to accomplish. So please know our conversation right now is for all of us to understand this, to figure this out. And hey, if it turns out that I'm a good match for you, wonderful. I'd be honored to list your home. But if not, that's also okay. So what you did is you reframed this from a negative adversarial type of frame to one in which the two of you are now allies looking to accomplish the same thing, which is what is in their best interest, which is what they care about. I hope you found that helpful. And what I would like to do now is bring on my first great buddy. His name is Jeff West. And Jeff has an amazing story behind him because he's been in sales for a long time. And he worked his way up from, in his last sales job, he worked his way up from on the street to up the levels of leadership until he was state sales coordinator of a very famous Fortune 500 insurance company. Now, what Jeff did is he built a huge team, had thousands of people on it, great teacher, and he was big. He was a big deal. Well, he retired eventually, but what he did is this, and here's what I loved. I always say Jeff's a student of sales, not just a teacher of it. And what he did is after he got out, he wondered something, and that is why certain people were successful, why certain ones weren't, when they had a lot of the same attributes, and why certain people were able to set more appointments with prospects and be able to close the sale with more prospects. Jeff's personal closing ratio was like through the roof. Now, he studied these things and he kind of knew that, but he didn't know exactly why. He made a study of that and has come up with something called fusion points, which is absolutely brilliant, and it's changing the way people are setting appointments, doing presentations, and running their business. So, Jeff West, come on down.
Thank you so much, brother. And thank you, Mike and Tanya and Michael. Thank you so much for having us here with you today. My part of the program today is to basically try to give you just a little peek under the hood, as we used to say back when I was working on a car when I was younger. But in this case, it's a peek under the hood about how how their brain works when they're actually making decisions. And here's why that's important. The single most important factor that will determine your future success, and if you're in leadership, the success of your organization, is not the economy. It's not the political landscape. It's not even your competitors. The single biggest factor that is going to determine your future success is how the prospects in your marketplace, how your clients, if you're growing a team, how the potential team members or your existing team members make one simple decision. When it comes to their relationship with you, will they persist or will they quit? And that's a question that has puzzled sales leaders for years. How can that happen? How can you take two people with virtually the same resume? They look good on paper, everything. They should both be successful in sales. And yet when you put them out there, one decides to be tenacious and persist and really go after their career, and they do become hugely successful. And the other decides to quit for whatever reason. So as I retired from the insurance industry, that was where my focus began to go, especially in the speaking and the writing that I do. And here's what I found out. Now, I'm not going to take you through all of the science behind this, because if you wanted to look that up, you're welcome to look for the works of Dr. Antonio Damasio. He's a professor of neuroscience at USC and an adjunct professor at the Salk Institute. But here's what he's determined. He's a leader in the world on how the neurology of the brain works during your decisions. But all decisions, regardless of where they come from, there's a science that actually determines how we make each and every decision that we go for. And if we understand that science and then we choose to work with it rather than in opposition to it, we can influence how some key decisions get made. We can influence how a prospect whom you've never actually met will make the decision to have the first conversation with you. We can influence how that same person then becomes your client and eventual personal walking ambassador. We can influence how a potential team member looks at the opportunity, how they may choose to come on board with us, and how they may then choose to be really awesome in their career. And the basics of that science are this. With each decision that we make, doesn't matter what it is, there's two things that happen. The part of our brain that creates emotion is going to connect with the part of our brain that processes logic. Every single decision that's made is made with those two things in mind. And so what happens in our bodies, if you're experiencing a negative emotion like pain, mistrust, uncomfortableness, loneliness, things of that nature, what happens is our brain generates the negative emotion, and then it sends an electrical signal down into our bodies. We feel something physiologically different. It's called a somatic marker. In the case of a negative emotion, we don't like the way that feels. It feels like crud to us. We'd rather get away from it. And in the scenario, especially in a business context, really even in personal relationships, when a negative emotion that we're experiencing is making us feel that way, and it combines with the logic of what we're facing at the time, the two come together to produce a decision, and that decision is no, I'm not moving forward. This is not where I'm comfortable. But the good news is the opposite is true as well. When our brain generates a positive emotion, such as joy, love, a sense of belonging, a sense of security, of safeness, when our brain generates that emotion, it still sends an electric charge down into our bodies, but in this case, the somatic marker that it produces is something we enjoy. We like the way that feels. We want to continue doing that again. It's how the beginning of every great business relationship starts. It's how the beginnings of great personal relationships start. But when that type of emotional context is then pairing with the logic of what we're facing at the time so that a decision can get made, the decision they produce then is more of a, I'm comfortable moving forward. The answer is yes, I can take this next step with you. And so as we're going along, I call that a fusion point. And a fusion point is that moment in time when logic and positive emotion merge and ignite. And when they do, they create energy and acceleration. They create commitment. And if you're leading a team of people, it creates the kind of loyalty that you just can't get any other way. Now, in the process of building a sales model or working with a company, I'll teach them to intentionally put fusion points in several parts of the process. And I can't talk about all of that today just on time, but I'm going to talk about one specific area today that it's very easy to insert fusion points, even with prospects that have never met you before. When I'm teaching prospecting in a fusion points model, basically what I want, you're going to find that your prospects are going to fall in three categories. Number one, you've got some prospects out there that are easy. We like those. They know they have a need in whatever you're doing. They may recognize your brand. Because of those things, when you make that initial reach out to them, you're going to find that they're open to giving you that appointment. Those are the easy ones. But unfortunately, that's not all of them. We have two other groups. The second group looks at an unexpected sales call as a bit of an annoyance. And when I was talking earlier about it, negative emotion and logic creating a collision point, for that person, an unexpected sales call can be a collision point. And so their natural tendency is to push back, to say no, to ignore you. And then there's a third group, and they're not really thinking about you at all. It's kind of funny, but it's true. They're thinking about their day. They're thinking about what's going on in their world. When you make an initial reach out, it means nothing to them yet because you haven't given them a reason to think about you. So what I teach in the Fusion Points prospecting model is you want to generate fusion points at least 3 times or more before you ever even start to request that first meeting. The first way is to get an introduction or a referral from someone else who knows them, and they also know you, and they know that they know you, like you, and trust you. Because when they tell that prospect of yours now those things, it gives that prospect a sense of peace, a sense of security, because you're borrowing credibility from someone they know, and it creates the fusion point. The second way that you can increase the percentages, because really what you're going for is you're going to increase your response rate in that second and third group I talked about, where it's either a collision point or they're not thinking about you all. This way is going to especially help in those two categories. I teach putting 3 positive emotional touches in your prospecting process even before you have the first conversation. One way to do that is to find some sort of positive press. You can, if they've got a positive review on Yelp, if you're in a business-to-business environment, you can do that. If it's in a business-to-consumer environment, sometimes you'll find fun things on their social media. Do a little research. As our friend Art Subject says, turn a cold call into a smart call by doing some research and doing some things ahead of time. And so that's one way to do it. The second touch that by the way, when you do that touch, print it off. You can write a handwritten note. There's some other things you can do that are also, it doesn't have to be handwritten, but if you do a little handwritten note there and you include 2 sentences. Number 1, I would like to meet you soon. Number 2, please expect my call. It'll get things going in the right direction. And then the second touch, some sort of article of value, something that's either directly related to their business or what's going on in their personal world that might be some helpful hints for them. Don't make it salesy. Don't make it about you. Make it about doing something that they will find valuable. Because again, that sets off a positive emotional response. The third is something that my friend Kim Angeli is just awesome at, is do a touch where it includes some sort of tangible thing in their hands. Where the service that Kim uses, you can literally upload pictures of their business or their home or whatever social media thing, put a nice note in there, and then add those 2 comments as well about, look, I want to meet you soon. Please expect my call. And then the final thing is whatever words you're using, whatever phrases you're saying at the time, and regardless of if it's the final decision maker or anyone else, make sure that the phrases you use point them toward their value from your proposition. Because when you get down to it, they don't really care about your product or your service or your company or even you as a salesperson, and you're awesome people. What they care about is how, if they're doing anything with you, how their world gets better. So as you're even requesting that first visit, invite, rather than ask them if they'd like a sales presentation, invite them to spend, 20 minutes with you, whatever it amounts to see if they can take advantage of their value from your proposition. It'll get your increases going up there. That's enough for me. I'm going to turn it. I can't remember the logistics. I think I'm introducing Kim next. If I'm not, Bob, I'll let you do it. But I'm so excited about you guys getting to hear Kim Angeli. She is an absolute master at the culture that you want to do. So I'll get out of the way on that now. Love you guys.
Well, thank you, Jeff. And if you watched Jeff, you saw why I have such a high regard for him as a human being, and as a teacher, and as a salesperson, as a sales leader, and again, as a sales student. Jeff and I can and have spoken for hours on the phone when it comes to sales, and we just love it. And just a great guy to be around. Thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate that. Kim Angeli is another of my real life action heroes. I just adore her. She is a walking fusion point. As soon as you meet Kim, you just feel really good. Kim was a $65 million producer for Cisco Systems in the technology space. She was great. Then she opened her own insurance company and built that up into a powerhouse, and then sold that. And now she is really teaching, and this is what I just love. She teaches a framework for you to stay, once you have a client, okay, and that's great to get the prospects, the customers, the clients through referrals, through whatever way, and that's wonderful. But then it's how do you not just stay top of mind, but how do you stay top of heart in such a way that your client becomes your personal walking ambassador, or as our friend Richard Wildman calls it, your delighted advocate. And that's what Kim shows us how to do. But my favorite saying, I quote this all the time. I think it is so absolutely brilliant. What Kim says is, it's not your client's job to remember you. It's your job to be unforgettable. So with that, let's bring on the wonderful Kim Angeli.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me. I learn something every time I'm around Bob and Jeff and so much wisdom. And so I am going to share with you today one of the strategies I share with clients when I'm strategically working with them to drive revenue, retention, and referrals. And keeping focus on the client, my main focus is beyond the transaction. There's a big gap after you celebrate bringing on a customer and now you have a new relationship. And a lot of business owners, we bring them on and we're so excited, and then we ignore them and go chase leads, or we chase other networking events, or we lose sight of all the things that we did, like what Jeff and Bob talk about, to bring them into your world and having them as a customer. And so my passion is, how do we stay top of mind, top of heart, and make them feel seen, heard, and appreciated beyond the transaction, beyond the closing table, beyond the policy. I was an insurance agent for 15 years. And if you're an insurance agent, I'm still licensed. I just don't practice any longer. If you're an insurance agent and you're only speaking to your policyholder at the time that you bring them on and at renewal, your biggest competitor is actually online. It's not the guy down the street who's an insurance agent. It's actually it's online is your competition, because there's no sticky relationship between you and that customer in the 11 months that you ignored them. And I can show that in any business. You could be a painter, you could be an entrepreneur, you could own a window washing company. It's not bringing them on and then forgetting about them. So I want to share with you today a statistic that I love to share when I do speaking. Is, how many of you know why customers leave you or really don't even bring you referrals or repeat business? 68% of them think you don't care about them. They feel as if there's no appreciation or gratitude beyond their money. How have you thanked them for being a customer? Now, you can think I'm appreciative of them, but how have you shown them that you care about them? So I'm going to take you back to 2017, and I am fully helping business owners. I've left the insurance business and I'm helping business owners navigate how to generate referrals, increase revenue, and retain clients. And I have a friend of mine, Mike, who calls me and he says, I really need my phone to ring. And I was like, okay, Mike. And he said, I know for a fact that I probably, I can't really afford a lot of marketing, right? I can't afford a ClickFunnels, or I really need something that's very easy, not easy to do, but something I could do right away. And it's December of 2017 and he's in the carpet cleaning business. And I said, well, Mike, the best way to really re-engage and get revenue and really reignite your business is to do a gratitude call. And at this point, Mike and I are friends. And I know in the conversation that he kind of rolls his eyes like, what? A gratitude call? What is that? And I said, well, this is a call that I have scripts for, that I've used in my own businesses. I do that because I believe if you're going to do it, you're going to walk the walk and talk the talk. And I said, I just want you to find your top customers, the ones that you absolutely love doing business with, and I want you to call them. I want you to call them, or someone in your organization. It doesn't have to be the founder of the company. I want you to call them. And he, again, looks at me like I have 3 heads, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I'm not attached to, I have 3 heads. And I emailed him the scripts. And Mike texts me about a week later, and he said, after 37 calls, we generated $8,700 of carpet cleaning in our business in January. Thank you. Because what happens is Mike was like, why did that work? And I said, well, first of all, you have to think about it, Mike. Your top ideal client at the moment were chiropractors. Chiropractors are thinking about all day long being a chiropractor, right? They're not thinking about their carpet. They're walking on the floor. They're walking on the carpet, but you're not top of mind. You're not top of heart. And a gratitude call in its simplest form is you're calling to just say that you appreciate the customer at a human level, as a person, and how's business. It's not buy one, get one carpet cleaning. Oh, buy this room, you get another one. We're not selling anything. We're connecting with the customer at a deeper level and making it about them. And so if you need your phone to ring, one of my favorite things to tell a customer or a prospect that I'm working with, they're like, I just want my phone to ring. I say, well, it dials out. And so I challenge you to call and connect with your top clients and relationships and remind them that you're still there doing what you do and that you're amazing at it, but they have just forgotten about you. And gratitude calls make you unforgettable and reminds them that you're there to help them make their world better. So if you do that one thing and apply that one unique strategy that I teach customers around the world, that will help you stay top of mind and top of heart with your most valuable asset, which is your current client base. And if you need the gratitude scripts, they do not live on my website. You can email me personally, kim@kimangeli.com, and I will personally email them to you for you to use in your business. And that's it. Am I on here?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Kim, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Kim?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that was wonderful. Thank you. And again, I just hope everybody can see why I just adore you. Will you just very quickly tell the story about the touch call you made to one of your clients, and you just
Friday?
asked them how they were doing? You just had a feeling and you just asked how they were doing, what's going on with your business, and they talked to you for like 30 minutes, just telling you what was going on. And they were like so appreciative.
Friday, I do gratitude calls into my customers, past, present customers. So I called a client Friday who's an entrepreneur. He has 2 businesses. And I just said, hey, Chris, I haven't talked to you in a while. I want to give you a call. Now, he knew I was calling because I will text before to make sure it's a good time. It's just one of the things that I do, a fusion point. And I said, how's business? How is it really? You could tell me, oh, it's awesome. Yay, it's beautiful. And he said, well, can I really tell you how I feel? I said, sure. And he just, I didn't say another word. And he said, I feel so much better. And out of that call, not intentionally, I was able to connect him with someone who can help him in his business, because connecting is my biggest love language. I love to connect people who are mutually beneficial together and can have that value together. And then he was like, well, is there a way you can come in and help me with my team, maybe now or into the future of the year? And I said, sure, absolutely. And so he enjoyed being able to tell me really how business is, because he understands I'm also an entrepreneur of 23 years. And sometimes it's lonely out there in the business world. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. It can be lonely, and we need to have those conversations with people and let them say what they want to say.
Yeah, that was just wonderful. And the business came from it. And I know, that Mike was telling a story about just reaching out, helping 2 people who needed help. And when you do this without attachment to the results, it's amazing what comes back. Now, if we can bring Jeff back again, and if Mike wants to join us, and Tanya and Michael, what have you. So we have an event coming up that I want to invite everybody to. It's called SalesWise Live. Now, first of all, if you felt that spending 10 minutes with Jeff and 10 minutes with Kim gave you some information that you might be able to immediately apply into your business, imagine 2 days with them, okay? 2 days in what we call a sales mastery retreat. It's going to be intimate, okay? It's not like there's going to be a whole ton of people there and you're not going to see it. No, it's going to be 2 days of just, it's going to be fun, but it's also going to be, we're going to be in there, and there's going to be a lot of learning to take your business from where it is now to that next level of success and beyond. Now, first, it's being held, and you can see a picture on the screen. That is actually the hotel. In fact, our meeting room is 2 floors up above the vantage point of that picture. So we've been joking that we're going to have to pull the shade down because people are going to be wanting to look out at the view instead of the speakers. But it's right across. You can see Palm Beach Island right from there, so we're right near the ocean. We have people who are going to be taking their families with them and spending a couple of extra days, and it's right in the heart of downtown West Palm, near the nightlife district, the famous Clematis Street. So if you want to go and just have a fusion point with your family, or if you have associates that you lead, have a fusion point with them, get them there as well, go as a team. You're going to have a great time with the atmosphere, but the 2 days are going to be taking your business to that next level. It's going to start with going deep into the go-giver and how to create these relationships. I'm going to show you how, when you meet someone for the first time somewhere, bless you, that you can actually create fusion points through 3 questions that you ask that person. And these are very just gentle questions that you'll enjoy asking, and most importantly, they'll enjoy answering. We're going to talk about how to ask for referrals in such a way that when you ask, they don't say, well, I can't think of anybody right now, but when I do, I'll let you know, because we know how that works out. We're going to show you how to frame it. Remember, a lot of what I teach is about framing. Frame it in a way that they're going to be able to come up with good A-list, high-quality names. Jeff's going to show you, take you entirely through his framework for fusion points and show you how to set more appointments with more people who are your desired A-list prospects, and then increase your closing percentage. And of course, Kim, you already know she's going to bring her goodness to you and show you all these ways to touch the lives and touch the hearts of people you know. So utilize the QR code if you'd like. Get registered today. And here's what we're doing. We're going to pay for your rooms. So it's all the different goodies. Plus, we're going to pick up the tab for your rooms. So you're going to come to a hotel. It's called Kim, what's it called again? Not a signature hotel,
boutique, luxury boutique.
Autograph boutique.
Autograph boutique hotel. It's amazing. It is absolutely wonderful. You're going to enjoy the experience like no other hotel. But so come prepared to have some fun and to form some great relationships and to, again, move your business to one that's a lot more fun, a lot less stressful, and a lot more profitable. So we'd love to take any questions that you have that you would like to ask. And let's see, I'm now looking. And by the way, I have not, I try to do just one thing at a time because I'm not very good at multitasking. When I say not very good, I mean I stink at multitasking. So I wasn't able to watch them, but now I'm able to read some of those. There's a gentleman, his name is Anand Chethi. He's from Mumbai, and he's been on a number of our calls, and he's always promoting and always doing things. He is such a great guy. So I just want to give a shout out to Anand and just thank you, sir. You're awesome. And I'm enjoying reading some of the other comments too. Please know each one of them touches my heart. Thank you.
I have a comment to make while we're waiting on any other questions, but this is exactly why we wanted to be here today. You guys are like, a lot of times when we put people through personal branding programs, the very first thing they ask is, okay, now what? I need to get in front of more people with this awesome brand, right? Or I need to get in front of more people. I need to get in front of the right people. I need to get more sales. And this is why we wanted to be part of this today, because this is exactly how it's done, guys. You definitely want to go this direction. I don't know anybody who's better than this. And I spoke right before you guys went live about the fact that your Go Giver book was new to me. Don't ask me what planet I've been living on. It was new to me in the last few months. Michael read it 20 years ago. Where was I? But the impact was huge, huge for me. And I realized that one of the things that it taught me is it's not about selling, it's really about self-selection. Allowing the people that are meant to work with you, the people that you're trying to attract, to self-select and say,
Yeah.
I want to be part of Bob and Kim and Jeff's world. And I think there's a lot of people self-selecting right now. So I just wanted to say thank you guys. It's incredible. And I encourage all of our clients and all of everyone here on this event today to sign up for this, because what they'll learn will feed them for the rest of their lives.
Thank you. That is so kind. And it's so funny how, we've all met through the relationships. I was introduced to you all through Coach Jim Rohrbach.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
You introduced me to Mike. Kim, I met through another a client of mine. And well, Jeff was the only person who was not somehow through a referral. I was actually prospecting Jeff 20 years ago when he was with his company, which is how we met and became friends. And so it's interesting how, and then Jeff had referred me throughout that whole organization, which I ended up doing a lot of business with. So that was through referral. So everything that we're teaching is what we do. It's how we live. And it's just, it's and I know the people who are listening, that, that's who they are too. That's who all of you are. So it's really just like-minded people coming together. But I got to tell you though, that it's going to be the 2 days. I mean, just that, I think about that. I get to speak with Jeff and Kim all the time, and I get to get advice from them all the time. And it's like, you're going to have 2 days with these guys. I'm just going to tell you, the TV show, between the three of us, I'm the weakest link. I mean, these guys, my name because of the Go Giver. And so, yeah, but these guys are brilliant. And imagine having 2 full days with these 2 people to just get into their heads and ask specifically about your business. Again, this isn't one of those things where, we do our thing. Hey, love y'all. See you later, and then you don't see us. No, this is 2 days of we're all together in this thing. We're looking forward to it.
I have a question. Well, do we have a question down there?
There's one. So go ahead, Mike, and then we'll take Joyce's question.
Oh, okay. So my question is real simple. You talk about, building relationships and introductions, right? What are some things on and offline that we can do, little baby steps? If we're too intimidated to go out and say hi to Jeff or something, we're a little awkward. What are some things that you guys would give us? It'll make it a little easier for us to lead with the right way, in a way that you guys will respond favorably to.
Well, there's all sorts of ways to connect with people, right? I mean, it's sharing your knowledge, sharing your resources, making others aware of opportunities that they may not know about. There's introducing people to one another, but there's a right way and a not so right way to do it, because we've got to remember, not everybody wants to be introduced. And not everybody necessarily. So that's also part of it. We've always got to remember when it comes to value. Okay. And we talk about provide value, provide exceptional value, give value. Okay. What is value? Well, price, of course, is a dollar figure. It's a dollar amount. Value is different. Value is the relative worth or desirability of a thing, of something, to the end user or beholder. What is it about this thing, this product, service, concept, idea, information, what have you, that brings so much worth to another person that they will willingly either exchange their money for it, want to be in relationship with you, exchange their energy, what have you. But value, and this is the key sentence that I just wish everybody that we kept at top of heart, okay? And that is, value is always in the eyes of the beholder.
Mhm.
It's not what we think is of value, and it's not what we think they should think is of value. It's what they think is of value. This comes back to belief systems, right? That unconscious way we see the world. And we assume that what we find to be of value is what others do, what everyone else does. And it makes sense, right? It's the only thing we know. And that's why you hear people say things, oh, nobody likes that. Well, that's not necessarily true. You don't like that, or I don't like that, but, or, oh, everyone would like, well, maybe not everybody. Or how about, I would never speak that way to someone. Well, no, we wouldn't, because it's not congruent with our values, our belief system. Others would, right? So we've always got to know that other people are not thinking from that same vantage point. So when we think of adding value, we just simply ask the question. Oh, so Sharon just says, how do you tap into what they value? So there's a couple different ways. First, you can do your research. There are just online, there's all sorts of information about what people love, about what they value, right? But also you can ask people. And this is where asking questions and listening really comes into play, right?
Mhm.
Because we ask the questions, we listen, and as Stephen Covey used to say, right, we listen not to respond, but to understand. But it's deeper than that, because we've also got to know that even when they tell us something, when they answer a question, just because we heard it a certain way doesn't mean that's what they meant. Again, belief systems, we define things all different ways, and it's all unconscious. So we've got to make the unconscious conscious. So that's when we politely, respectfully, diplomatically ask for them to clarify, just for my own clarification, or just to make sure I'm really understanding what it is that what have you. When you say X, may I ask what, or however you'd want to do it, depending upon the situation. So yes, the two ways of finding out is pay attention just in terms of what they have going on online, what they're talking about in their conversations, what it says in their background, and also the questions you ask.
Mm.
Hey, Mike.
Great information.
If I could add one little thing there, because you were talking about people are too shy to reach out. If you'll do the prospecting in the way that I talked about with the fusion points, where you're making 3 positive touches before you ever ask for that first meeting, it's the shy salesperson's dream.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you do when that happens is you're creating 3 of the positive emotional touches. Each time you did it, you're adding a couple of little things. You're saying, I would like to meet you soon. Please expect my call. So for that shy person that's out there, when you do that first and you call, you're going to find a great percentage of them that aren't just getting a blind sales call. They're actually looking forward to you doing that. Where the basic premise of that came from when I was in the insurance industry. I had a district manager whose team was opening up 3 times as many accounts as the rest of the state. And what they were doing, they were going a little further than the 3 that I teach, but they were going back and doing positive touches. But you'll be surprised when they would do the number they did, which was 10, which is overkill a little bit. But every time they walked back in the door, people had stuff in their hands and they were saying, we want to meet you. So it takes that shyness and it helps you overcome it, because you're laying the groundwork that makes them say yes.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I tell all our brand face clients to chase the conversation. The commissions will follow. You that's where you want to be. You want to chase the conversations. Yep.
Yeah. So so the question was asked earlier, and then we have another question here from Joy. But the other question was about social media and online and building the relationships. And can you first? Absolutely. But it's not an either or. It's an and. You don't have to do one or the other, but you certainly can online, because when social media really began to be a thing, people asked me, well, Bob, this relationship building stuff, will it work online? Okay, so years and years ago, 40 years ago, when I started in sales, we had this thing we used to use. Okay, it wasn't in person necessarily. It was this thing called the telephone.
You actually talk
We
to people.
actually built relationships without seeing people. Now, so when social media came, they said, well, can you do it without being in person? Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's what we need to remember. All things being equal, people do not do business with and refer business to those social media platforms they know, like, and trust, but to those people they know, like, and trust. It's the person in front of that computer. Okay. You can form deep relationships, never having met someone. Absolutely. Now, that said, we don't have to keep it as an either or. I'll tell you a couple of things I've done. One is just that have been in conversation with someone on, let's say, LinkedIn, and I send a personal handwritten note, which I send, and that's another thing we do, and so forth. And then we've got Kim's, we've got all these different things. And so you send that to them. It's an offline touch, right? Pick up the phone and call them. Wow, they got a call from someone they only know online, right? So we can mix them up, absolutely. But sure, creating relationships online. See, to me, the biggest blessing about social media and other online type of communication is it allows us to actually connect with people we otherwise never probably would have had the opportunity to connect with. And it's much easier. You've just got to, again, create those fusion points. And then once you have them, stay top of heart, as Kim teaches. And yes, without question. Okay. Here was Joy's question. So I'll answer this first and then give this to Jeff and Kim. Do you advise working with scripts to the letter, or is it okay to customize it to your own speaking style? Now, some people, can we keep that up there just for a sec? Some people say, oh, thank you. Some people say, oh, well, working with scripts isn't authentic. No, that's not true. Reading a script as though you're reading a script isn't authentic. Okay. So, yeah. So imagine somebody going, Jeff was a musician. Okay. Imagine Jeff going on stage, playing the instrument and never having rehearsed, never having the notes in front of him to be able to know what to do. No, rehearsal's perfect. Rehearsal's fine. Scripts are fine. But again, just like emotions, you want the script serving you, not you serving the script. So you put a script together to know the message that you want to say. Okay. Rehearse that script. Absolutely. Until you know it. It's in your head, it's in your heart, and it becomes part of you. And that's what rehearsal's for. Okay. And so now, that said, if it's a script someone else gives you, hopefully you can rework it so that it's your personality and your style. That's what's authentic, making it you. But, remember, there's the old story about, what was his name? Yul Brynner, who played the king in The King and I, and something like, 8,732, I just naming the number. I think it's much more than that, performances on stage, and then in the movie. And they said, Yul Brynner did not play the king. Yul Brynner was the king. Right. Because it was so much part of him. Okay. But he didn't do it without a script, right? He followed the script. So again, there's a time and place for everything. It's when we talk about systems. Okay. What is a system? A system is simply the process of predictably achieving a goal based on a logical and specific set of how-to principles. The key is predictability. If it's been proven that by doing A, you'll get the desired result of B, you know that all you need to do is A, and continue to do A, you'll get the desired result of B. Kim, Jeff, and I are simply taking the systems we put together, combining them in one very powerful thing. But I guarantee you that when Michael and Tanya, excuse me, they have a system for, sorry.
We choked you up, Bob.
Oh, you did. They have a system for being able to position yourself as the authority in your field. Okay?
Absolutely.
Now they're gonna gear it specifically to your needs, of course, but it's a system they've developed over years and years and years. And all you need to do is tap into that system, and you're going to be successful because it's been proven.
Right. Amen. when it comes to scripts, whether you're using a script that someone else wrote, or you're doing more of a structured improvisation, so you're doing bullet points that are getting you through the same process, and you've checked with your mentor about your bullet points that it's the right way to go. You can go either way, but if you're going to use a script, treat it like an actor does. I have a little bit of an acting background. And what does an actor do? An actor takes words on a piece of paper that was written by someone else, but the words are going to effectively communicate what's supposed to happen in the scene and go forward. And then, but the actor doesn't just learn the words, that's part of it. They think about the emotion that's trying to be communicated, and then they make it into their own by how they deliver it. So when you're working with scripts, that's the way to do it. You approach it like an actor does. You get a lot of repetitions in with the right emotional context, and you make it you, even though it may have been written by somebody else. And if you're doing structured improvisation, you're doing the same thing from your bullet points.
Great point.
Amazing.
It's like method acting, right? You take the method
Exactly.
and then you put the king in it. You be the king. Be the king. I love it.
Love it.
Yeah, it's weird me being this quiet for this long, isn't it?
I started
Everybody,
today.
I'm surprised we haven't seen any comments. All right. I'm taking notes. I got blisters now. Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff.
You guys are awesome. Thanks for having us in.
Yeah, this has been so much fun. And thank you all for making us feel so welcome. We look forward to seeing a bunch of you in a few weeks and having some fun and growing together with all of you.
Well, I
I'll
have to
tell you
say,
what.
I came here
Oh,
for
go ahead.
selfish reasons. I came here to learn, and I did. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, thank you guys. And so did I. I came to blast this out there. There's so many things out there, that doesn't work for a lot of people or negative. And this is all positive, right? How to build our business, how to help people. And the folks in the comments, I mean, we need to be doing better. We need to go out there and help people so we can earn money, so we can go help more people, have more time, freedom to do those things in life that matter. So thank you guys for that. I don't even go to the grocery store anymore, and the whole pack knows it. But I've got to pack up like Beverly Hillbillies and go to this thing. So we're going to see the impossible. I'm going to get on on the wagon there and go out there. I got to. This is too much. This is worth it. And if I'm not going to invest in myself in this, I mean, what am I going to do? So that's just me. That's nobody paid me to say that. I'm just blown away. I love it. Your guys are heart-centered, high-level professionals, and everybody knows it. So that's who I want to learn from. Everybody in the audience, thank you so much. Thanks again, Brand Face, all right, Tanya Eberhardt, Michael Carr, thank you for making this possible. Dr. CJ, Constance Leland with Level Up Academy, our publicity queen in the Hounds of Business. And obviously, hey, Kim, Jeff, you all are rock stars. Absolutely. Thank you for all of this today. Thank you for the great info. I know they're super pumped, ready to rock and roll. Go out there and kill it. Join us over in Florida, guys. This is going to be unbelievable. And last but not least, Bob Burg, man, you're the real deal. All right. And I don't say things I don't mean. People know it. But thank you for the opportunity to share you with the pack and so many people out here on all social media platforms. This thing got so much. There's going to be a huge impact because of this. So if you want to take it to the next level, everybody go ahead and scan the QR code. You can hit me up. I will post on this on my LinkedIn. Make sure you have all the resources. So if you can't make it into Florida, right, June, we have international folks watching this. There's tons of resources available for you to level up and just really capture this information so you can go to the next level. All right, guys, any last parting words, or did I cover it?
Man, you covered it just amazingly well. And I hope that people who are watching this, who are not members of the Hounds of Business, become a member right away, because you have led and developed just an amazing organization.
Yeah, we second that. We second that. We've loved being a part of Michael's group since day one.
The king of connection.
He's the real deal too.
Yes, he is.
Well, I appreciate you guys, man. Hey, like attracts like, birds of a feather should flock together, dadgummit. So we go out there to Florida. Y'all done promised me we're going to put our suits on and we're going to go fishing, right? Right, Kim?
We're going.
Yes, Bob's going to pretend to fish. There we go. Beautiful. Well, everybody have a blast out there. Go get excited. Put this stuff into action. Have courage before confidence. And I will see you out there in Florida, minus, a flat tire or something like that. So thank you all again. Have fun. We'll see you in the pack, guys. Go make it special. Have a